Hello, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Carlene.
And I'm Jay. We are also known as Jaylene.
On this channel, we recap and provide our reviews for Married at First Sight.
Tonight we'll be reviewing episode 4, Honeymoon Hiccups.
Please subscribe and click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos. The first couple that we'll start off with is Kirsten and Shaquille. The couple went into their hotel room and reflected on the day. I was surprised to see Kirsten sitting on Shaquille's lap like that.
I was surprised too, as much she kept saying that she's not attracted to him and commenting on his bald head and all that mumbo jumbo.
You can tell that he is all in and wants to make this work. Kirsten tells Shaquille that she wants to make it work, but it's a lot. Shaquille asks Kirsten to explain her hesitation. She basically says how she wants to get to know him. Shaquille thought in that moment it would be okay to ask for a kiss. That was awkward. It was no shock to us that Kirsten declined. Kirsten's probably thinking, every time they're connecting through conversation, it's always ruined by the topic of kissing Shaquille.
So pretty much she was upset that he didn't ask for a kiss, and then told her friends that he would ask, there was a higher percent chance that he would get a kiss. So when he did ask, she still says no. Hypocrite by any chance?
Now it seems like she's looking for the perfect moment, and in her world, there's no perfect moment.
I think eventually he'll wear her down enough where he'll get his kiss. But if there's no sparks, she'll just find some other kind of excuse not to have any kind of physical intimacy going forward.
In her confessional, Kirsten said she doesn't want to kiss Shaquille because she doesn't want it leading to something else. She wants them to get to know each other and make sure that there is chemistry there. In his confessional, Shaquille shared how he respects boundaries and how they are still strangers.
Kissing doesn't necessarily is going to lead to sex. I don't know what she's talking about. I'm sure if she gave signals, he would pick up on, oh, okay, she wants to go further. I don't think he's going to force himself on her, so that's just more her reaching.
The next morning, Shaquille shared how Kirsten fell asleep while he was talking. Kirsten was comfortable sleeping next to him and enjoyed dancing with her husband. She asked Shaquille about his nighttime routine, and she shared how she doesn't always brush her teeth. This didn't sit well with Shaquille. If Shaquille was noticing strikes, this would be strike one for Kirsten.
I was also surprised that she was actually laying on his chest, as much as she likes to complain about everything. So that was interesting. The brushing of the teeth, it just reminds me of when Bao said in the previous season that she didn't like taking baths, but that was kind of blown out of proportion.
Now let's get to meeting with the in-laws. Shaquille met with Kirsten's bridesmaid and cousin. Her cousin didn't think Shaquille is intentional about Kirsten and the marriage. Shaquille didn't seek out Married at First Sight because it just fell in his lap. He talked about seeing, I guess, ads and things like that, and it just came to him. So Kirsten's friend didn't like that response. She knows Kirsten is not going to come to him so easily, and she wants to know how Shaquille is going to handle it.
I'm getting tired of her friends. Like the look on their faces and just whatever he says is not the right answer. If he did something to you the night before where he didn't give you a good vibe, I can understand the hostility and the way they're looking at him, talking to him and grilling him like he's a criminal. But I didn't find all that necessary.
Shaquille seems to be taking in all the advice that they had to say. At least her friends are vocal. They're basically telling him how he should approach Kirsten. This is a good thing. We witness how other family and friends were like, I'm not giving up any information. Let him or her figure it out themselves. But it's a two-way street. Both Shaquille and Kirsten need to put in the work to make this marriage a success.
I don't mind them like having her back and everything. It's just the way they're going about it. So I think if they would just change up their tones, he'd be more receptive. Because you can tell by looking at him, he's getting irritated as well, or production just edited it that way.
Kirsten met with Shaquille's friend and uncle. Kirsten was happy with the conversation she had with Shaquille the night before, but she is concerned with his busy schedule. This will continue to be a concern if they don't address it right away. Remember, Shaquille said how he makes time for things he wants. Date nights and spending time together must be intentional.
But I think that's anybody. Whenever you really want something, you're going to make time for it. So I don't think that would be a big deal for Shaquille, especially if he wants this relationship to work.
Now on to Domynique and Mackinley. This couple decided to have more champagne in their hotel room. Domynique asked Mackinley if he snores, and he took forever and a day to answer this question. Mackinley just admit it. She's going to find out sooner or later. It shouldn't take someone that long to answer that question. Mackinley admits to talking in his sleep. When he asked Domynique about snoring, she said no immediately and went on to share how she might kick him while he is sleeping. Not so much in those words, but she moves around in her bed and uses a body pillow. While the couple was having breakfast, Mackinley asked Domynique if she's a big cook. She said yes and started naming all the dishes she can make. Mackinley looked confused, like he didn't know anything she was talking about. When Domynique mentioned frying up catfish, Mackinley was unsure if he had any. Domynique shared how she has a freezer full, but Mackinley didn't look pleased. Not only is Domynique looking for Mackinley to eat catfish, but also to catch it and clean it too. This isn't going to be pretty.
It is not. So I think that's a strike one for her, for Mackinley. So that alone, I don't think this is going to work. Well, we all know it's not going to work anyway, but that alone is not, they're not going to align on that particular subject. So that's bad on the experts.
Meeting with the in-laws. Mackinley met with Domynique's mom, aunt, and grandmother. He asked for tips and tricks on Domynique, and her mom was like, I want to know more about you. They asked if he'd ever been with a woman outside of his race, so he talked a little bit about that. I know that they are getting Mackinley ready for these questions and looks from others if he decides to stay with Domynique, because she's already used to it.
But how much is the mom's fault? Since she signed Domynique up for this show, shouldn't she have specified what race she want her daughter to marry? So I kind of blame the mom for this one.
Domynique met with Mackinley's mom, sister, and best friend. If looks could kill, see for yourself how Mackinley's mom is staring at Domynique. His mom says how it is nuts, with a long pause, when talking about getting married at first sight. They asked Domynique about moving to Michigan, and she was like, that's tough, which is understandable. I don't think Mackinley would go into this process thinking his spouse is going to move. Yes, it's a conversation that needs to happen, but that's a lot to ask of someone you just met.
The mom knows, like we all know, that this relationship is not going to work. I don't know if she dislikes Domynique, but she might have that woman's and mother intuition that there's something off about her.
Let's talk about Jasmine Airris. When they got back to their hotel room and got ready for the night, Airris tells Jasmine that he likes her evening wear, and this made her excited, and then they cuddled. The next day, Airris asked Jasmine to rate his cuddle game, and she gave him a 9. This rating thing is going to be their downfall. Yes, a 9 is a good score, but eventually someone's going to hear a score that they're not going to like.
Again, you keep poo-pooing this man. I was like, I don't understand it. But one thing I wanted to point out, the black women, they're all wearing these, I guess you want to say sexy sleepwear, but the other women are just wearing like regular pajamas. And I'm just curious, like, why is that? Because if you found the person unattractive, wouldn't you put that aside and just wear something casual? That's just me.
Okay, so you want to look at maybe that's what they packed. So if they were going to be attractive or not, they're still going to have to put some clothes on, to come out. And then they're on TV. So they're not going to be coming out with, holy pajamas and things like that. They still want to look nice and presentable.
So they're trying to look cute for TV and for people watching TV, but not for your husband. So that's like a second thought. That's what you're saying.
They're looking cute for themselves, okay, and then for their significant other, and then they're also on TV, so they still want to look nice.
I guess.
While they were having breakfast, Airris started critiquing Jasmine's baking and how he misses it. He still loves the smell of it, by the way. Airris warns Jasmine about his cousin. We all know that she is not approving of the marriage. Jasmine met with the cousin during the reception, and she expressed how crazy it was. It's not going to change her mind in that short amount of time that she wants to be for the marriage. It hasn't even been 24 hours. Meeting with the in-laws. Airris met with Jasmine's parents and brother. They laughed with Airris about being an only child, missing out on sibling fights, and now he'll have someone to fight over the shower with. They were just putting her business out there about being organized or not and encouraging him to get to know each other. This was a more pleasant meeting with the in-laws. Now on to the unpleasant experience for Jasmine. Jasmine met with Airris' mother and cousins. Then production continues to make drama and ask his cousin what she thinks of his wife. His cousin's going to laugh and was like, "You said wife."
I'm disliking the cousin more and more. I feel, if you feel the way you feel, that's fine. But you don't got to keep kind of pushing the limits for this situation. If it's going to work, it's going to work. If it's not, it's not. But if I'm Airris, I wouldn't have invited her knowing the way she is. Because I think he needs to put his foot down and put his cousin in her place.
The cousins just refused to give Jasmine the benefit of the doubt when talking about her past relationship. Now, if Jasmine said she couldn't answer that question, they would have faulted her and told her that she isn't ready for marriage.
Yeah, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. So whatever Jasmine would have said, it would have been the wrong answer.
Are they going to continue to throw in her face that she's a pageant sister every time they meet? If his cousins really want to help Airris, they could have shared helpful information such as likes or dislikes, not make it seem as if Jasmine wasn't ready for this process. Or the cousin is trying to help Jasmine to get out of the situation because she knows Airris' track record, but she cannot outright say, "Run!"
No, there's got to be more to it than that. I just feel, as another black woman, she should be more supportive instead of like bringing down and going down her, breathing down her neck the way she is about any and everything just to kind of, I guess, have the marriage be over. But I wish she would come around just be a supportive cousin and play that role. I'm sure we'll probably see her later on in the season when they're having their decisions making for about decision day.
Gina and Clint. In their hotel room, the couple talked about how they were so happy how the day turned out. The next morning, Gina told Clint she left her work phone and that she is working on losing some control. Clint seemed happy with this news and not annoyed like he was during the reception. Meeting with the in-laws. Clint met with Gina's brother and sister-in-law. Her sister-in-law seems or believes that them being similar, that's red flags. So she hopes that they can learn from each other and identify who can do what better. Clint would check out of the marriage if he didn't see that they could see each other's viewpoints or just being stubborn. Her brother shared how Gina is so busy and he is concerned if they'll be able to make time for each other. Gina met with Clint's dad and friends. I think Gina was too forthcoming when she basically shared how Clint isn't her type and started talking about her ex-boyfriend. Why would you do that with his family? Did you even share this information with him? I don't think that you should, but why do they need to know? You know that they're going to go back and share this information with Clint.
My thing is with Gina is, here she said, oh, he's cute or he's hot. In the first episodes of the after party, she was saying, he's not my type, or I don't think he's attractive. So which is it? And if you don't think he's attractive, just say, oh, he's cute, just to tell his family. So there's no going back to Clint and then, oh, she don't think I'm attractive, and him blowing it up from there.
Nicole and Chris. The couple shared their first breakfast in a fur-free bed. They talked about sharing food and hoped that this wouldn't be a fight like other married couples. Nicole wondered what their first fight would be about. When Chris mentioned how he liked to be on time to things, and Nicole has a difficult time being on time, we all knew that this was going to be their first fight.
That would be mine too, because I'm a time person myself, so I feel Chris on this one.
Chris complimented Nicole on her natural beauty, and this was very touching for her. In her confessional, Nicole says she likes it, but she doesn't believe it yet. This is understandable. If she isn't used to receiving compliments, it can be hard to receive and believe it. Meeting with the in-laws. Chris met with Nicole's parents and stepdad. Her stepdad went in on Chris. Chris says he thinks he is ready to be a husband when her mom asks. Nicole's dad thinks Chris is a nice guy, but compares him to a serial killer. I guess this is the default for this season, serial killers and mass murderers.
Nicole's dads get on my nerves too. Chris stated on the after party that he was kind of acting out for the cameras, trying to be funny and stuff like that. So that's where the serial killer thing came in. But I got some more to say about her dad later on in the video, because it seemed like he didn't do part of his job when it comes to raising Nicole.
Nicole met with Chris' parents and brother. Didn't Chris' dad remind you of Miles' mom from the New Orleans season? Miles' mom was like, if you don't want him, just bring him back. And Chris' dad was like, if you see it's not working out, don't drag it out. He is saying this to someone who admitted to staying in relationships longer than she should have. It didn't sit well with Nicole when she learned that Chris is really into his relationships. She wants to be able to still hang out with her friends. His family keeps telling her he's committed. Nicole was happy to learn that she should protect his heart. Okay, now it's time for them to get ready for the honeymoon. So all the couples received baskets for their honeymoon, and they were all excited to find out that they were going to Jamaica. But Gina thought they were going to the Bahamas. Who else besides me yelled at the TV when she said that?
Me, I thought she was stupid. I was like, come on, girl. I'm like, either one, you don't have any Jamaican friends, or two, there are no Jamaicans in Tennessee. I have Jamaican relatives, and I know they would have stoned her to death.
Did you see Kirsten's face when Shaquille told her that they couldn't go to the honeymoon on the first night? It's that FOMO with the other couples. She had a fit, but I think she took it well. It would be different if he was like, we can't go at all.
She's acting like they're going to miss the whole honeymoon. They're going to miss one day. One day. That first day, you're pretty much just resting anyway because of all the travel you got to do.
Okay, so all the couples minus Kirsten and Shaquille, they were able to meet up and they introduced themselves and they were getting ready to go to Jamaica. When they were on the plane, Mackinley was complaining about having a middle seat. So on after party, they were trying to upgrade to first class, but Mackinley canceled the flight. They should be lucky that they made it on the plane. All the couples were excited to arrive in Jamaica, all except for Kirsten. She was stuck in Mississippi in a hotel room waiting for Shaquille to finish his presentation. Let's talk about how bossy Airris is. He's going to get in the tub like Nate from last season and ask his wife to not only feed him grapes, but also to get the grapes to feed him with.
At least he took his shoes off.
In their hotel room, Chris and Nicole talked about their past relationships, and it was so sad to hear. Their partners treated them horribly in the past. Nicole shared how she has vacation anxiety because she is her true self on vacations. Then she started to talk about her first relationship, where she was told that she was not worthy of love. Also, her ex-boyfriend burned her with a cigarette. Chris kissed her scar and apologized for what happened to her.
This is where I felt Nicole's dad didn't do her justice. When it comes to growing up, I'm going to say this probably happened to me, right after high school, maybe something like that, early 20s. If you don't have any self-respect for yourself and whatever guys tell you, though, you're not going to show me you love me unless you let me burn you. I don't know what she was thinking, too, as a father figure or a father in someone's life. You should give the person or your daughter love and show her and tell her what to expect from a guy. This guy will treat you this way. This means this. That means that. I felt the dad dropped the ball there. I was wondering when she kept saying everything in the beginning episode was about relationships, and I'm assuming this is one of the abusing relationships that she had. I know she probably had more, but that was a sad thing to hear.
Yeah, I could understand that. We don't want to victim blame. Yes, her dad should have done a better job, letting her know her self-worth, but also the guys that she was with, it says about them. How were they raised? How were they brought up to treat someone like they're less than human? But I'm glad that Nicole got out of that toxic and abusive relationship. Also, I'm glad that she is starting to love herself and that she knows that she is deserving of love. I'm happy Chris was able to comfort her in this moment. This is a great way for them to connect because they are opening up to each other. I hope that they protect their past hurts and not throw it back in each other's faces during an argument. That's all we have for episode 4. What are your thoughts on episode 4? We'd love to hear from you. Put your thoughts in the comments. Please continue to like and comment. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to click the notification bell so you won't miss any of our videos.
Later, everyone.
Bye.